everybody, it's Kelly, and and I have another layout for you today. And this one has kind of a special story that I will tell you eventually. But first, I'm going to take these 3 photos, and I'm going to mount that on that blue plaid paper that is from Creative Memories, and I believe it's the Mix and Match Blue collection that it came from. And I'm going to just kind of mount them even, 2 to the side, and then mount that one kind of in the middle of those other 2 so they kind of go across evenly. And then I'm thinking I want to use that chevron background paper, which is again a Creative Memories piece, and I think it is again from the Mix and Match Blue collection. And then I want to use that yellow piece behind the blue pad paper to kind of set it off a little bit. The only problem is I cut it a little bit too thin. I wanted a little bit bigger of a border, so I'm going to recut that yellow paper, which is the Doodlebug Day by Day Sunnyside Lane paper. And I never had that collection, but I was somewhere and saw that, and I thought it was a great yellow faux solid paper, so I will do that sometimes when I'm in a scrapbook store. I'll just buy something that I think is a great faux solid. So now that I have that strip of the 3 4x4 photos going across back by the yellow paper, and I really like how that sets that off, I'm liking it, but I'm thinking I might want something behind the blue paper just to kind of set it off even more. And so I grabbed this piece of Basil white cardstock, and I don't remember what cardstock collection that's from. I love this paper behind too, this floral paper, so I'm hoping I can use that at some point as well, because each one came with 2 sheets, and I kind of like the distressed look of this chevron. This is such a great collection. I do a crop once a year, and a Creative Memories consultant is the one who actually hosts it. She doesn't even push the Creative Memories product at all or anything like that, but she does bring some along, and she had this and a couple of other solid collections or faux solid collections, and I use them. So now I'm going through some Bella Boulevard die cuts here. They are from the Sweet Baby Girl paper pieces, which is what they call their die cuts. And I'm thinking I want to use animals on this. This is from, I have a bunch of stuff from my granddaughter's baby album still left, actually. She's still a baby, so that's okay. But I'm thinking I want to use animals because there's animals on that blanket. So I'm just going to kind of go back and forth. I did grab that giraffe, which is chipboard, and that came from the Bella Boulevard Sweet Baby Girl Chow Chip icons. So that's a chipboard collection there, and I have that little rhinoceros or hippo in diapers, that die cut there. I'm just trying things. I'm thinking I want something up on that top right there, and I'm not quite sure about it, like what it should actually be. I like that little hedgehog too. She's so cute. Now this is kind of like a boy layout. It's a story about something from my great nephew, but I'm still using pinks and blues and yellows and things. So I thought about that little hedgehog circle up there with that cloud because it's kind of sweet. And then I realized I did need something to journal on, at least a little bit of journaling. And so I didn't like I didn't want the tag to go vertically, so I just covered up that frog that was on there with that hedgehog, and you can kind of see a little bit sticking out, but it's not anything kind of like disturbing. You don't know what it is, and once I write on there, you won't see it. And I just picked this up and realized I never did journal on here. I did play around with maybe using that little frog guy right there, but instead I really liked him up here, and that again is from that Bella Boulevard Sweet Baby Girl Chow Chip, the icons there. So kind of playing around with other things. Can I pop a little something else up in there? I want a little something else. I'm not quite sure what that is though. And then I find this little leaf from a little flower in that die cut pack, the paper pieces, and I like the green here. So it's just, I know like that little hedgehog is not really a flower, but it's just a little touch of green to bring in the green from the frog, because there is no green in the blanket that's pictured here. And then I'm going to add a little green in another spot on the bottom so that you get kind of that triangle of embellishments together. But I like how that kind of leads you across. All right, so kind of liking how this is going now. I'm liking where the animals are sitting, and like I said, the animals are all over that blanket, so I think that's perfect. Because this is chipboard, I'm going to add some adhesive to it. I have had Bella Boulevard chipboard fall off of layouts once I've gone back, so I just pretty much add ATG to chipboard if I do it now, whether it's theirs or anybody else's. So I'm loving how these animals echo the animals on the blanket there. Now I'm looking to see what other things I can do, and I find that little word strip that says cherishing this, and I decide that's the extra piece in that cluster I want. I'm kind of playing around with maybe adding it right there. That piece came from the Sweet Bella Boulevard, again, Sweet Baby Girl Treasures and Text sheet, and that's where that little hedgehog sticker came, by the way, that I'm putting that Treasures and Text sticker under. I don't think I told you that yet. So I like this, and cherishing is exactly what I'm doing about this blanket. Then I find another little word sticker that says Sweet Baby and another one that says Angel. So I think that's really appropriate to this story, and I like how it sort of rounds out that cluster down there without getting all sneezy. I can't say that. So I'm going to add the word second generation up there in these pink L Studio letters and numbers alpha, and that is light pink. So the story behind this is I made this blanket for my nephew in 1993 when he was born, and he is the father of the baby that you've seen me scrapbooking, who is Harrison. And my sister saved, I made cross-stitch blankets for both of my nephews, and my sister saved them to give to them when they were older. I am, by the way, trying out other alphabets here, but I wanted something a little bit bolder, but I ended up staying with this one because the size was right. Anyway, she saved them, and she had this idea that I could maybe embroider Harrison's name on this blanket, and then she could give it to them to use for him. So that is exactly what we did, is we embroidered his name and his birth date there right above his daddy's, and the plan is if they have any other children, I will embroider them in those other remaining squares, however many they have. So I'll probably embroider if they have a second child right below, just so that there's 3 in a row, and after that we'll see, you know, what happens, and maybe they'll just keep passing that on, and you know, as it goes. So anyway, I just love this tradition. I love that my sister thought to keep this, and it was a pretty precious present. So it also has a lot to do with kind of a longer story about how she told me she was pregnant with this particular nephew, so that I won't bore you with, but it's very, very meaningful to me and her, and so at least part of that story will need to go on that tag there. And then I think for now I am going to keep this for my album and not for Harrison's baby book. Eventually they will get this one if they want it, but I think right now I think it's more meaningful to me than it is to them, and that's fine. I mean, if it stays that way as well too, that's fine for me. So just about done with that, with getting the second generation on there. I'm loving the way that looks. I like the band. I love how the animals echo the animals in this design. And by the way, I couldn't cross stitch that now if I tried, because I can't see well enough to do that anymore. That's what happens when you're 25 years older. So I'm adding some miscellaneous twine, light blue twine, into that tag. It's something I bought at my local scrapbook store, so I don't exactly know where it came from. It was just wrapped on that card. All right, guys, so here is the still shot and a couple of detail shots. Hope you're all well, and I will be back with another layout again soon. Bye!